Welcome to Kyber Lab, episode 42. Here we have Commander Luke Skywalker versus Qui-Gon Jinn, with Jedi Knight Anakin, of course, which is what makes it difficult. General Kenobi is not in here, so you don't have the reactive taunt as much. However, you do still have a taunt in Old Ben, and with General Kenobi, it doesn't make that much of a difference, to be honest, given the method that's used here. It can make a little bit, but it's more or less the same. So here at Kyber Lab, our goal is to max your banners, minimize RNG, and avoid mistakes. Remove RNG altogether and avoid mistakes. So the point of this fight is to get 61 banners. That should be not that complicated. Gear check, approximately the same gear level, doesn't make a big difference. You might have to take a hit now and then, but it shouldn't be that much. Mod check, tenacity on Chewbacca and Chewpio, or 3PO and Chewie, make a big difference, but they should be your default loadout for those two characters anyway. Speed, don't be super slow, but besides that, you gain a ton of TM. That's the whole point of this team. Not quite as much as normal, because you substituted Old Ben for C-3PO. So the method of playing here is you trigger Jedi Knight Anakin's AoE early in the fight by getting somebody else low. And then you blind and or ability block Jedi Knight Anakin and kill Qui-Gon Jinn, then kill Jedi Knight Anakin and the rest of the team. Essentially, it's the same as any successful team for high banners versus Qui-Gon Jinn. Control, and then kill. If you're watching the turn meter and who's taking your turn next, there's very little RNG in this fight. It's really very straightforward. Just have to be careful what you're doing. So let's take a look and see how it goes. So starting out on Jedi Knight Anakin, doesn't really make that big of a difference. Getting low, it's helpful. You will take some damage. Old Ben there because Old Ben gains turn meter whenever a rebel or Jedi ally is hit. I think 5% each time. So when you went after Jedi Anakin, you gained a bunch of turn meter and did the ability block. Landed on 3 of your guys. Really not that big of a deal. Even this is like worst case scenario here. Ayla got a stun on Chewbacca. You have ability block on Chewpio. Don't stress. Spread your damage out a little bit. You have plenty of time here. It's all about control and knowing who's next. I don't know that I would hit Ayla necessarily because you get another stun. Better to hit Mace or Old Ben or Qui-Gon, one of the characters with foresight on them. Okay, that's the important part. You trigger Jedi Knight Anakin's AoE. Okay, Old Ben has a taunt up. The taunt that will come back. So in this case, even if you remove the taunt, it's going to come back because that's Old Ben's Zeta, one of his 2 Zetas. And you know that you have a 3PO and Chewpio coming up with a Dispel. So you have to remove this taunt twice. That's very important here. I would not switch stances because you get more TM outside of the stance, but everybody needs to do what they want to do. So in this case, you have to remove the first taunt. And now with the Dispel, you have to remove the second taunt. Chewbacca has a 3rd Dispel as well. So you have a lot of options here. You have three Dispels. With Old Ben in there, you have to remove it twice. So that's very important to keep in mind. And now you have blind. This is the key part. You have blind on Jedi Knight Anakin. And his AoE is gone. His AoE cannot be avoided or evaded. So blind doesn't help with the AoE, but for the basic, it can be. So now going after, yep, there you go. See, there's an evade. Everybody's evaded, has blind except Ayla. So she went after C-3PO. This case, very helpful. Depending on where you get ability block and turn meter and whatever, sometimes Old Ben can use the ability block instead of blind. So Jedi Knight Anakin might actually kill somebody, but he won't do his AoE. Again, the important part is just watching turn meter and turn order, and making sure that before you kill Qui-Gon, Jedi Knight Anakin is under control. Depending on how you play this, you can get more than 61 banners, but at the minimum, you should get 61. All depending on how you manage Jedi Knight Anakin and when you trigger his AoE. So there you go. It's an easy cleanup. You could have potentially gone, yeah, here you could have gone for another 62, 63 banners. This case, you got 60. It should be 61 plus. 62, 63 are possible depending on how you time it. So I hope that helped. Hope you learned something, and enjoy. Cheers.